NyanCave!
Hey, welcome
Hello!
to maybe the last great Ace Attorney stream.
Until the next
Part
one. Part one.
Oh, how you doing? You all excited to get into it? Yesterday was pretty crazy.
Yesterday was pretty crazy. Now it's time to hear about how hard this man's life has been. Every day he woke up and he broke all the bones in his body. Eating food broke his teeth. And breathing made his lungs shatter. Life was really hard for this man.
Wow. Thank you for being here.
Corey!
Corey!
Thank you for being one of us. And I saw your message go by. I've been a member for 3 years now.
3 years.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you, Corey.
I'm asking you two about those 3-year badges. Don't you worry.
When are we gonna get them, YouTube?
When?
Let's
Where are they? Where? You've all exceeded YouTube's wildest expectations.
they're like, no one's gonna be a member for more than 3 years to any one person.
Thank you. Hey, Scott. I'm an asshole.
Get into character. I'm an asshole.
I'm an asshole.
Boot and wine. Boot and wine.
Boot, wine and boot. Bootleg wine. That would be,
His
Von
eat,
Zeke's
pray, love.
line.
Yeah.
His wine line.
Oh, his wine line?
Yeah, bootleg wine.
Bootleg wine? Oh, that's
It'd be
cute.
Space, boot, space, leg, space, wine. Bootleg wine. It's funny.
Every bottle has been crushed beneath my boots.
I despised my life growing up. Those slums are a vile place. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole. And you eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination. But then you decided to sell government secrets. Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money.
Oh.
Even
Okay.
now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. Then, one day, I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilded.
You're a fiend with acquired... oh, God. Okay. You're a fiend with acquired talent, so you are. I've money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me little plan now.
I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic message logs, and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of the ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task.
The lure of the devil's offering. How easy it is to succumb.
But you must surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing. And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure my actions were untraceable.
By using the music box.
My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He'd once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again to employ his services.
Oh, son, I miss you. Make me a music box. Okay.
It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier.
Look at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you've become, eh?
Tell me, has Eggert finally followed his feet? Kind of looks like that scene.
It really does, doesn't it?
It's a great scene. I liked it. He was a different man to the one in my memory. A thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him. Never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box discs, eh? Our musician friend... Oh.
A musician friend of mine has written some music and wants to sell it to the public. I've brought the score with me. There are two, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch me my tools, would you? They're in the loft.
That's how I had him make 2 discs.
Thereby splitting the information in 2. You were taking considerable precautions indeed.
It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant I could deal with McGilded in 2 separate transactions. The first involved the first of the 2 discs, and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas. Then, on receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas. So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago? Was the second part of the deal? The exchange of the second disc? Yes. I'd sold the man information that way a number of times already. But it seems he became reluctant to part with his money.
Well, that doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon, for why was it that on the omnibus 2 months ago? Your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded, and not yourself.
When I received the 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. Son, I heard those music discs, and I don't think 200.
This newfangled music, I just don't think it's right for me.
I mean, I'm
It's a little
open-minded and all,
weird.
but
200 guineas? I'm a brickmaker. What do you expect me to do with 200 guineas? Buy a new wife? It's a little too late for that, isn't it? I'm old.
in time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. And when he did, he said to me,
Next time there's an exchange, you let your old man do it, understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore.
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGilded. That's it. He had no idea what was actually on the discs I'd asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home.
That's really sad, actually.
Mm-hmm. It was only then that I'd found out what sort of a monster McGilded really was. So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name. To exact revenge. Revenge?
As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man would no doubt be able to imagine,
McGilded brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. To crush any semblance of justice in his trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and the witnesses were bribed. That trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish.
My feet had barely touched British soil back then, and I walked into that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background to it all.
I've made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in this city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown me that.
Are you saying that?
I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything to his favor in this courtroom to ensure that he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved.
Okay.
I mean, like, didn't waste any time.
No.
Didn't even let him leave the courtroom.
Not he's like, okay, here we go. Oh, wow.
That tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly.
McGilded's death that day was caused by this man.
Everything's ready, sir. If you'd follow me to the courtroom.
Why are you winking like that? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe.
I hope it's not inconvenience, though. There are, some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told.
He promised me a princess, Judy! A princess! One made of peaches! Crazy!
He asked if I could be present for it myself.
There are many boosters. So that policeman who came in to tell McGilded he could examine the omnibus again.
That's right. An imposter, hired by me. Wasn't his impression spot on? McGilded used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGilded inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell.
Oh, shit.
An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death.
A spine-chilling account indeed.
But that wasn't the end for me. There was a loose end, you see.
Loose end?
Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded.
Oh, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime.
When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGilded. This is the first of 2 discs, and the music box you need to play them.
Well, look at that now. Oh, what an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, young man.
What's this? Windibank's Pawnbrokery.
Aye, what is a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. You can use it to redeem the article I deposited there for you. There's no need to give a name. Just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend with the wayword. I've put a jewel in a pawn for you. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will.
I've never heard of a pawnbrokery used in quite that way before.
Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one's like an extremely secure vault.
Until the invention of the cat flap-o-mat.
Oh, yep.
So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. And on that night he'd killed my father. He must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yes, to Gina. I remember now that when we first met you at Windibanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for? From the trial. That pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another of McGilded's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced that it would be her who had the ticket. So I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. And he was absolutely right. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Windibanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilded's overcoat and the one disc that was in its pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing.
Because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier.
But you should have immediately recognized your father's meters, and
Right.
you know it's fine.
It's too cluttered.
Too cluttered. Too many things.
But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion.
Well, that explains everything.
Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government sequence was progressing, we picked up on the fact that McGilded was involved. Inspector! Oh, you've recovered fast. My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fellow's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could. And then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc were still there in the shop somewhere, so I knew that it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So that's what prompted you to break into the place that same night? With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers. What happened that night in the pawnbrokery, I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I'd located the music box I'd sold to McGilded on the shelves of forfeited articles.
And the second disc was inside.
Yes. I slipped it in my pockets with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened. What are you doing in my shop? Damn! No hesitation. A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm.
The broker fired his gun and the bullet pierced your limb.
Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case. Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom for refuge. Sorry tale. It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Windibanks on that wretched night. Damn.
Yeah.
Get your ... out in chat.
Earlier, you called McGilded a monster. A man who uses his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilded.
Damn. Letting him have it. Yes. I think I have.
Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial.
Eggert, I was born with glass bones and paper skin.
Angry! Thank you. You got my reference.
I'm ironically late because of a music box. But here to see it through with you till the very end. Not just Nyan and Clay, but you all.
Aw, thanks, Super
Super Potato! Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome. It's nice to be doing this with you as well. Oh no. Oh, BK, I don't think that'll play, but congratulations on passing your driver's test. And yeah. Here every day, and you're awesome.
You did it! Now you have mobile freedoms.
Freedom!
However, it would seem that at last we've arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Oh, he's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Winterbank and the stealing of government secrets.
Very good. And you, Inspector. Regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself.
Yes, my lord. Of course.
It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. The fact remains whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Yeah?
It is time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, sir! Get Ebb Squadron standing by, sir! This really is it now. The last push! The final call! The finishing whistle! My men are ready to deliver their verdicts!
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not
guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not. Yay!
Von Zeeks calls a summation examination.
I said Stuffo! I'm off the hook!
Finally, Runo, you managed to do it.
Finally is the word. I wasn't really sure if we'd come out on top for a while there.
Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world.
Miss Lestrade, I am not finished with you yet.
Eh? Oh, what you look at me like that for?
Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider, 2 months ago, in my courtroom no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGilded's property, it seems.
What? I never done nothing of the sort!
Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGilded's coat in your cell yesterday or anything.
His coat!
Aw, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Ginny this evening.
And turning our attention to the defense,
Determining that when played together, the music box and discs contained a message in Morse code was... Well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, Counsel.
Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast to demanding the government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom.
What? Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so...
If I may say something on that point.
Yeah, I just noticed Iris's little pose over there, like...
What we gonna do?
Yeah. I thought it might be Gregson, but Iris has got the pose back there.
I think it's juror number 5.
Isn't that... Oh my god, good call.
It's, about the sounds produced by this music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all.
Woo, where did that go?
What are you saying, madam? Because, Graydon was a master of,
Encryption.
ciphers.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Oh goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession, one feels.
But I must say that, in my opinion, the sounds produced by those 2 discs...
Oh. Is there a ... dash hanging from her glasses?
Oh my god.
Or .. sorry.
I think you're right.
were nothing more than that. A meaningless series, a series of 2 different tones.
What? What? Can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all? My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again.
Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine!
This courtroom is not an appropriate forum for discussing the nature of the government communications.
It's true.
We know McGill did conspire to trade national secrets with our enemies. Secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon.
What is the weirdest thing about this, though, is that, like, Graydon didn't say anything about it.
He didn't.
Because he could have been like, it's not Morse code. It's broken. Those are random noises. She knows Morse code. Tell him. You know?
Yeah.
Something like that. It's just weird that he accepted it all as it was and didn't try to change it. So I hope they explain that.
Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further.
Oh. But it's really gonna bother me. Unless they were the wrong discs.
Maybe they're them backwards.
And Graydon didn't know.
Miss Lestrade.
Yeah, my lord?
That which you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing.
You're telling me I watched a man die?
Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity.
An appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on. It ain't nothing I don't see most days in the back of slums.
I beg your pardon.
Oh my god. Wait. No, they would have played the exact same time, though, probably, if they put them in right. Because Sholmes copied the disc.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if, like, Sholmes prepared something and, like, had the foresight to place it in the music box or something.
Ooh, wouldn't that be crazy?
And so it was like a fake that was planted.
Ooh,
it wasn't there at all.
That'd be crazy.
So it would have ended up being all jumbled. I don't know.
Found he was like, these are likely government secrets.
I don't know. Because he's the only one who took a print of it. And I don't think nothing ever came of that little, like...
Nothing did.
You know, setup, I guess, to call it.
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes.
Gina.
Look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, gotta start at home. You gotta start at home. You gotta change how you are yourself.
Hard to get into voices today, I'm sorry.
Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Unless you'd like to be a lawyer. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade,
Not guilty! Fireworks!
Do the taxpayers pay for this?
Wow! That's cute.
that is all. Court is adjourned.
Amazing.
The moment I first heard Clay's Graydon voice, I knew the end would be amazing. I was not disappointed.
Oh.
Beautiful job voicing my favorite Eggy boy, Blue Heart.
Pro Pincus, thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you, Pro Pincus!
Glad you liked it.
On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend.
Oh.
Despite being in Nipponese, you saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within the Englishman. And at the same time, saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures.
I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside.
You know, I took this case for one very simple reason.
Oh.
To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom.
I thought so. You did?
When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed.
Oh.
Through you, I hoped to look into the eyes of the man I once knew and try to understand.
You mentioned something similar earlier today about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly?
Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not.
Oh. All right. Then I'll wait for that day if I must.
Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey in my retirement from service 5 years ago, it gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose.
One more for the road.
So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow, until we meet again.
Love how Gregson can't get away with this, but the policeman in the previous case did lol.
Yeah.
By a woman!
I think it was a little
He
more
was young and
serious.
in love. And what's Grace?
Well, it wasn't quite government
Gregson.
secrets, but they're both very serious. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
He just wanted to have some time with his wife.
Hey, look over there. Hand waved. Boom. This is not the investigator you're looking for. It's done. It's over at last. But where's Iris disappeared to? Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent.
Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruhodo. You believed in me, right up to the end. You resigned your name.
Then what's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I?
No one ever has before, see? Kept a promise, I mean. Properly.
That's awful.
I figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I never trusted no one. That's just because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down.
Yeah, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson.
Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a lot of that lot of sense to me, though.
I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure.
For crying out loud, pack it in! But I suppose, sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright.
Thanks.
This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption.
But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow?
Oh, that voice!
It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Ha! Yes, it was me all along, I would have said when you finally noticed me.
Oh my god.
But you people with your incessant babbling.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes?
Ha! Yes, it was me all along. You see? You see?
I'd assumed you'd been taken back to the hospital, to be honest.
Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again.
Oh.
I happen to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctors who are attending to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence.
How very above board.
But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat at you.
Thank you.
Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe.
Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade?
Well, you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed. Some of us have been fighting for our lives.
Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold, but perhaps not as cold as ice, but, well, have a feel!
Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes?
But you're so warm. And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade.
What's that supposed to mean? What's so half-hearted?
Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but an acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious.
Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest.
Oh, the Reaper you mean? Because anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working with winds up dead anyway. Is that it?
Ah, the very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilded, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself.
Yeah, well, don't bother me.
Oh, really?
Of course not. The way I see it, Reaper's a bit like him upstairs.
Him upstairs? You mean like God?
Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. You might have got the wrong end of the stick. There's some coves that, like that bog trudger, were rotten to the core. And at the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure to get what they deserve.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another.
Well, I ain't like the McGildeds of this world, so I ain't scared. I got a principle, see?
A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade.
Oi, just give it a rest, all right?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina.
Well, There you are, Hurley! How long have you been here? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Ah, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. Those pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in the room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day.
I'll be careful.
Ouch.
Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight, but you won't be able to come, will you? Because you'll be arrested. Don't look like I'm going to be going nowhere for a while. You heard the judge's patter. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently, of them offences. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the bog trotter's stuff, what was in the lug, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense.
But diving ain't no offence. It's a job, innit?
I don't think so.
Get paid. Still, it's got me thinking it's all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Odo?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket.
Well, anyway, I reckon I could make a change. I'm going to do something for them like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them.
Oh.
That's a wonderful idea, Ginny. I'm sure you can do it. What is it? Nothing.
Miss Gina Lestrade! The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Carry them to the rear gate at once.
Right.
Oh.
Well, looks like I'm off then.
Yes. Goodbye, Gina. And good luck.
Odo?
Yes? Oh. Ah! What was that for?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade. On occasions such as this... I would recommend a simple thank you.
Oh. Oh, yes. It's good advice, Ginny. Right. I see. Well. Thanks, Odo.
Aww. Aww.
Oh. Thank you for everything what you've done. For believing in me.
Did the tears just wash the dirt from her cheeks?
Yes. Because character development.
That's
she was
precious.
she's a changed woman.
Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. That's really sweet. Well, there she goes. My hero. I wonder
Watch
if I'll
her
ever-
as she goes.
Whee!
Wonder if I'll ever see her again.
Well, well, quite the indomitable blah blah blah.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I bought a paper this outside. It's a special edition and this trial is all over the front page. Pickpocket innocent proven. Isn't it wonderful?
You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled.
Oh no! How silly of me! Oh, well, anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Not again.
Well, what do you say, Runo? Hurley?
As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first.
Absolutely not! I have no intention of listening to anything but good news!
And there you have it. How people answer the question says a lot about them, doesn't it?
Let's not go there.
All right then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, apparently.
Well, that is some good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort.
All right then, and what's the bad news?
The huge storm that has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more.
Wait, Dover?
That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still very make it in time to wave off Susie.
Maybe not so loudly in the court. There may be some other people who would like to find Susie.
Yeah, right.
But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky.
Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo?
Mr. Sholmes?
I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole.
I don't... Well, the great detective does it again.
Indeed he does! I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport director's foibles.
What?
I merely made my knowledge to them known to the man, and he helpfully laid me on a locomotive. Elementary!
Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way.
What are we waiting for then? To London, Victoria!
Whee!
Knowledge is powder. Powder power.
Van Zeeks, I'll never forgive the Japanese.
No!
No, thank you. We'll see, though.
We'll see.
I think by the end of the second game, he'll come around.
He's gonna be our best friend.
That took somewhat longer than I had anticipated.
Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Miss Sasato, where are you? Oh! Over there, look! It looks like she's reading something. Yep. Hold it! There it goes. Miss Sasato, wait, what are you doing?
Huh? Mr. Naruto? What are you doing here?
Did she copy it? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see.
Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go?
It went well. She was acquitted.
That's wonderful. really wonderful news.
The book you're about to throw into the sea, was it your Encyclopedia of British Law? Wasn't it?
Oh dear. I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell.
Aww. You were saying goodbye to law? You, Susato-san?
Would I be correct in assuming? It's because of the peephole, Miss Susato.
I want to know more about that.
I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and I tried to hide that fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable.
That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie?
On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember.
Oh yes, we had a wonderful time.
Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun! I stole Runo's armband!
Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice for ages.
On a whim, I thought it'd be fun to see if I could take the cat flap-o-mat. So I put it up my sleeve.
Really?
And then I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Windibank's shop later with it that night.
I see.
And then... Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes!
Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo!
Right.
After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think, and that door started to play on my mind.
The storeroom door, you mean?
Yes. If Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know.
So, you used the cat flap mat to make the peephole in the door?
As captured in the photograph and the print of the shop. By one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
Indeed, it was the first of importance at that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
But when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight of that met my eyes, made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier.
The trial of Magnus McGilded?
I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then, a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windibank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing.
You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime?
That's right. But then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in the case.
What do you mean?
Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim to falsely witnessed it, there would have had to be a way to see beyond the door.
Ah.
For which a peephole would be the very thing.
Only the people I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not?
A trap? Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even the police.
I know. And I knew at the time that what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. And that's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan.
She really does think of everything. But then... Why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began?
My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade.
Oh.
You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So Mr. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of the responsibility alone. For your sake, and Miss Lestrade's.
Mr. Sato.
The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I lost a little of my faith in the law.
Oh.
I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of a crime, but the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant.
What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon's the one who lied in the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Mrs. Sato, what you did saved Gina's life.
Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets.
Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured.
Yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure.
But the revelation that the music box disc contained secret messages, Mr. Naruto! What a triumph to work that out! I'm full of admiration!
Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was.
Oh? It wasn't?
There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator, and she said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones.
As one would expect. After all, we're talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted.
In cipher? Oh, I see. So then we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway.
Nonsense, my dear fellow! It's quite a zero pipe problem, I assure you!
Sogi? Asogi.
What?
Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny.
Wait! Iris, what did you say?
Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you?
Bro.
Mean something? Asogi. That's the name of my best... That was the name of my best friend.
What?
But how? How did you know that name, Iris?
I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box.
She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius. I like how the game has to remind you.
Right?
I thought that the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it.
That'd be impossible. Genius. Haha. Take that.
But
Are you
whatever
a genius?
I tried,
No, that's why you wouldn't know.
the words just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least.
Oh!
It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just English variety.
Oh.
Various countries around the world have altered and added Morse code to use it in their own languages.
I don't believe it. Are you saying...
That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before.
And that was enough.
But I think it's based on the Iroha pentagram, isn't it?
And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code, the message says Asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't really remember all the Japanese Morse code.
Iris, would you let me see that?
Mrs. Sato, do you know? Do you know Japanese Morse code?
Yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will ever become more important to the international communications.
Then, and might I recommend, my dear madame, that you focus your efforts on the English version?
Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please.
Ooh, boy.
Of course!
But what could this possibly mean?
Whatever is in that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes. It's made the color drain from Susato-san's face.
There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications?
I don't understand the reasons why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4 names?
The first is Kei Asogi.
Kazuma Asogi. Why? Why was his name on that disc?
The second is A Shin.
Shin. I don't recognize that name.
The third is T. Gregson.
Gregson?
Ah, it would seem Tobias Gregson is the third man on the list.
And what's his name doing in a secret government communication as well?
And the last name.
What's the matter, Miss Susato?
It's just so strange. So unexpected.
Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense.
Is it Wilson? Don't be Wilson.
The last name. J. Wilson.
I told you! I told you the Russian ballerina was actually a child assassin! It's a hit list!
It's a hit list!
Ah! From a billion miles away.
So good.
What?
Wilson?
John H. Wilson? You mean Daddy?
Oh boy.
It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then, after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate it from Japanese, that is all 4. And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you need noted down, Iris.
It's a syndicate, GD. It's a syndicate of assassins. They're everywhere.
We didn't see Brett's face.
Or Brett was in disguise.
Yeah, we didn't see Brett's face. Brett literally could be anyone.
I could be Brett. I just can't believe it. Who would have ever thought that those discs contained Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names.
It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan.
So, Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runo come from.
Whoa!
Oh, well...
No, it's not very likely really, is it?
Whoa!
I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them.
Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. Then when, Naruhodo?
When? If
when?
Now when?
This is so strange. Somehow, in solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave.
I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside.
Not without a torch. And at least 50 feet of rope. Honk.
The goose is loose! I have to skadoose!
Just
Oh dear.
enormous goose.
The ship is gonna set sail soon.
Yes, it seems so.
I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk, in France. Then I'll change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan.
You're really going then, Susie?
We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato.
Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best.
Miss Susato, I'd hoped to have you always at my side, to guide me and support me.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. Oh.
I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it.
Aww.
Really, Susie?
Oh, don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill.
A promise?
About your manuscript.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. The Hound of the Baskervilles.
oh, well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise.
Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo,
Yeah?
do you remember the first time we met?
Yes, of course. On the SS Buria, when I was dragged out from that wardrobe still half asleep. If I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with the Susato takedown.
You know very well what I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as were, in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy.
Miss Susato.
And my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that. I'll be back soon. Farewell until then.
What a sweetie. Oh, damn.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least.
Waga hi.
Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
Oh!
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will.
Of course, obviously.
But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Oh.
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Some trials and tribulations. Maybe some investigations. You know. Oh.
Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, Mr. Sholmes?
I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the Special Express train, apparently.
And yeah, chat. In the spirit of justice, and in the end, we will have justice for all. Huh?
It caused such a commotion on the line. All the other trains had to wait stations.
Wow, you must have had some real dirt.
But really, we never would have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault.
What? Huh?
I believe a formal complaint shall be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Miss Susato.
You love defending yourself in court.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
It's all right. I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See?
Mr. Sholmes?
Yes?
A word, if you don't mind.
Why, certainly. Any word you'd like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. I love Renaud's words, and I know just the one he'll use here.
Then, I really must say...
Objection!
Objection!
Objection! Hey!
You sure it's not... Yes! Beautiful. Shu-Takumi.
Shu-Takumi!
And Roboy, Monoscriven Anime, thank you for the renewals! Almost 1 year. The Christmas.
In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrived at Baker Street from all over the Empire, Europe. Something was afoot. I thought I'd subscribed to orders myself, so I advertised them for sale within used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. And the money I've earned? Consulting detective work pays its pittance by comparison.
Hey, they got the analyzer back.
Hell yeah.
Kazuya Yori.
I haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow. Oh, it's tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Hurley usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooks is an overstatement. For some dry toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfasts.
Yasumasa Kitagawa.
Good job on the music, Kitagawa.
And in case you didn't hear, we're going to be playing A Link to the Past tomorrow.
Witness, your testimony
Ouchie.
is riddled with contradictions.
Exactly. Really do Greco and coincide under the rare stakes themselves.
Well, I don't know, son. Knows his father's an innocent man. Well, you calling my son a liar?
Witness, my courtroom is no place for your petty arguments.
We get to see the Japanese judge. I love you, Japanese judge.
Ah, I thought Hosonaga was going to show up. Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, something.
I laid low in the scene ship.
But last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board.
I've done nothing wrong.
All I did was give Wagahai's offspring refuge in my pocket. A man brings a kitten on board and suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair.
Wagahais. Would they be like ores?
Ores.
Scientific investigation will be the gold standard. I dream of a world governed by the tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment.
Bum, bum, bum. Character models were really good too, and the illustrations amazing.
Beautiful.
The last Rant's magazine's out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote now, I get a standing ovation. You want to hear it? Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur.
Whoa, that's a good line.
Ha! Her ladyship puts me to shame.
Shouldn't you be in jail, right, Catherine? Didn't you commit crimes? That's fine. Whatever.
I checked myself into the pawnbroker, you see? Safest place in all London. No one can get me here. Been visiting the old girl on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Oh, I must say, battling with those bally stairs every day has done wonders for me, Dickie Peg. Managing rather well in the housework, too. Got this maid business taped up, I'd say. Hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man of the house is his own maid.
Oh my god. When you miss your wife so much, you dress up like her.
He just misses the maid.
He just misses the maid.
Be your own maid, though, you know?
My Rolly's back on the beat again, all thanks to the Reaper.
There's nothing more I enjoy these days hunting out small change in the gutter. I'm a better Bobby now, looking out for Londoners, their dropped happenings, and my love.
Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly.
Touch your tongue to mine. It's all official now.
Looks like I'm going to be doing time for a bit now.
Oh.
Iris comes every day for Nata, so it ain't too boring.
Wow.
She's always going on about all them cases what Sholmes is looking into. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them.
Aren't they, Lestrade?
Oh. Inspector Lestrade? I hope in the next game she doesn't have the buttons in their goggles now.
Ah.
And she's an inspector.
You expecting the time skip?
I hope.
Yes. I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets? Please.
Give over, bruv. I ain't the Ash we used to know.
We got time. We need to plan the comeback of Milton Skulkin's milk run, right?
The three Muscle Watsits. Milking the neighborhood for all it's worth.
Worth.
I love those boys.
Those are good boys.
Two of them at least.
They're good. I'm just so sad he didn't give them like money. He's like, Dad, you get 200 guineas.
Yeah.
Also, people who like help me survive, you get nothing. Good day, sir. Help me be criminal.
Oh, his pose was the front-facing version of that? Oh, that makes sense.
This past 6 months has been a time I shall remember
That's cute.
forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruhodo-san, I promise, your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well.
Oh, they said they were paid penalty. Oh, right. And then there was government secrets. And they're like, hey, I don't care. Government secrets pay me nothing. Oh, is he gonna oh, I thought he was gonna dot the doubter mark.
Oh.
Oh, that's a good
That's
picture.
so sweet.
Oh. What a good game.
What a dysfunctional, eccentric family.
I love them.
Oh! That's so cute.
Are they gonna dance?
A dance of seduction, if you will. Oh. That's so cute. Oh.
Good job. Good job.
Good job. I'm gonna play a few things.
Sure.
You're fine, Jajato. Ryunosuke was still chasing the criminals, so the crime wasn't finished. You were just part of the scene. Yup.
Yup.
Ooh, there she is.
Ellen Gale, thank you.
Thank you, Ellen Gale. She'll be back.
She'll 100% be back.
School started this morning and I figured something good had to come out of today, so thank you for being that something.
Aww.
Being a teacher sucks sometimes, but especially at the end of summer. Upside down face.
I bet. No
They're
one wants to be
in!
there. Kids don't want to be there.
Nobody's happy to be back, but
It's always soul crushing when the summer that you always think will last forever is suddenly over.
yeah.
And sometimes it's the teacher's fault. Obviously. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And sorry about the delay, everyone. Finales are a bit weird. Ah, Jesus. Scared myself.
Gregson being complicit in throwing Gina under the bus for murder comes off real different now that we know he was just covering his own ass.
Suzu!
Yeah. I'm surprised Gregson got off easy in the stories. I mean,
Thank you, Suzu.
Thank you, Suzu.
Yeah.
It wasn't just to save his own ass, but that definitely played a part in it, that's for sure. And a link to the past tomorrow. Yes. Yes.
Now that the case is over, Van Zeke can go back home, his own castle in Castlevania, and drink all the wines he wants.
Where he belongs. That bootleg wine.
Motor Squeevin Anime!
Thank you. Thank you for 2 months. I saw you leveled up.
The greatest friends in the world.
What a do?
Yeah, he was definitely including Cosmo. I'm excited to meet this Shin.
Right? Who are you?
Who are you?
Beppo, my boy! Beppo, my boy!
We won't have enough time to finish the escapades today, but we could probably finish most in one stream if we hit a couple today. They all happen before game 2. We gonna do them after the second game?
Angry. We'll see. That's interesting. Maybe. I wouldn't mind starting them today. We definitely have some time. I would like to take a look at them.
At least see what they are, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what they are.
Thank you!
Thank you. We'll play it by ear. See how she goes. Maybe there'll be a... No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I definitely don't want to do them, like, as part of the part 1. It seems a bit scattered. So maybe they'll get their own stream. But we'll see. No promises.
Skulkin Brothers for Halloween costumes?
Catherine!
Catherine! Thank you. That would be fun. You just start with like a Wario and Luigi hat.
Right?
And just alter that. God, look at them. So cute.
Boy's fucking massive, mate. Look at how tall he is. Jeez.
Hikari.
Hey, love it. Love their poses.
I kind of want them to be lined up smallest to tallest. Is she gonna walk with us? Is she gonna walk with us?
I don't think so. She's in prison.
Yeah.
She's gonna shoot us.
Oh.
Their walk cycles are very cute.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful.
Hey.
The Great
Aw.
Ace Attorney Adventures.
Oh,
what a good
fleeting
picture.
farewell. Damn. They kind of have the Phoenix right fins a little more pronounced there.
Mm-hmm.
Aerodynamic.
Oh, what a good game.
Sees credits. Insert Keep Walking song from VeggieTales here.
Dark Iron.
don't
That's
know
not
that
something that's not a song I'm familiar with, sadly.
Yes. We'll see, Godzilla.
I await the happy return of Susato.
Oh,
Did it work?
Roll Boy! Hell yeah! That awesome.
Switch over to the menu for Resolve Kakugo. Is it
Special
Select
contents?
Adventure? Oh wait. Select adventure? No?
No, I think it's
that's not it.
special contents. Isn't it? Isn't that where that thing would be?
Not the thing I'm looking for.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna pee.
Select adventure, go left. Oh. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go pee as well. The character designs? Yeah, we'll take a look back. I'll be right back. Thank you for being here. We're not done yet. We're gonna do some escapades.
He went too? We both went? I can't wait to start this game. Hello. It's been 5 years since Spirit of Justice? That's kind of crazy. Oh, we started playing it. I guess we'll just have to keep playing Ace Attorney.
Sup?
You guys go to the bathroom too?
Yep.
How could we coordinate ourselves like that?
Me, is it over? Clay, not until the Nyan jumps. Nyan, Finn. Clay, it's over.
It's over. I have the high ground.
Dark Iron! What a reference. What a reference.
Oh.
People want to know if you want to see the alternate costumes.
They're all in this thing here, I'm pretty sure, so.
Ace Attorney games always sneak up on me. I always start out ambivalent and end like, yes, my son is a defense lawyer from the past. Thanks.
TK!
Thank you.
Right?
Oh.
Cute!
Neat. All decked out in that logo. Really looks like Sholmes' wacky assistant like this.
Right? That's definitely our Robin costume. Oh, damn! That's
You
so
can actually
cute.
play the game with this outfit on? That's crazy. Oh, outfits are only available for use in the Great Ace Attorney 2.
Oh.
Can't believe Sasato returns.
Oh my god.
You know, that makes sense.
It does. It makes so much sense. Delightful.
Did we get them all? Oh, we're being awarded all other accolades. I guess not.
We did not get
I
them
guess some
all.
of them are part of 2, so I'll leave that.
Just in case, right?
Revealed the killer to be blank. Oh,
We're probably not going to use the costumes. Probably not.
probably not.
Because then it gets the, you should only use the costumes then. No, use them now. And that's drama that I just don't want to deal with myself.
Special voice acted lines, that's right. Voice recitals.
Objection!
Oh.
I will become a lawyer. I have to. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes, there's a clear inconsistency here.
I don't think we've ever heard that one.
No.
Prepare for a Susato takedown!
She's so cute.
Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense.
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me. Now, let us engage in the art of deduction. Mr. Naruhodo.
Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world.
I don't think we heard Iris speak like at all.
Mm-mm.
Iris Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular.
Aw,
Cute. She sounds like a small child.
she does.
The tea's brewed, and I have some freshly baked biscuits as well.
Objection!
Wow. That was quintessential Ace Attorney.
A Japanese man's katana is his soul.
Ooh.
This blade shows me where I need to go and cuts down anything that's in my way.
Damn.
Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
Oh.
I have faith in you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, as a lawyer and as a friend. I have faith in you.
Oh, oopsies. Oh.
Objection!
The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed.
There's a lot more nasal than I was expecting.
Yeah, wow, did not expect that.
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law.
Oh, I didn't expect the
This has gone
hurler.
on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such.
Almost sounds like Sean Bean a little bit.
I don't know who he sounds like. It's a lot more nasally than I was expecting. Yeah.
Lord Strongheart has told me all about you.
That one's good.
That you're a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago.
That sounds a bit more ooh, what I imagine he'd sound like.
The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
Objection! My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage! The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
I'm sure everyone knows by now who it is.
No, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Hold it!
Oh, yes. Ushcapades. Oh, my. Oh, so there's 8.
The Ranced magazine.
Which one?
It's just it's the Ranced magazine.
Oh, wow.
That's fun.
Ah. Spoilers about the first game story. Okay. November 22nd. Defendant. Oh my god!
Just look at my priceless treasure now. Oh, myself I have scrubbed and scrubbed. But the repelling odor of meat will never be repelled from its splendid surface again.
But you have it back in your possession at least. You should just be grateful, old man.
How dare you!
Excuse me, but I'd just like to get that, Zabaton cushion there if I could.
Mr. Sir, miserable military malefactor, this is not over! Incarceration awaits those who would defraud a senior citizen for his priceless treasures!
Watch your tongue, old man, mark my words, I won't!
Sorry, Sergeant, but if I could just get at that, Zabaton cushion there as well?
Oh. I won't go to jail! Never! Imagine if I did! Very next day, my boy would starve without the chain of command in place to provide for him.
Using the child to protect yourself! Myself I call an absolute cowardice!
Oh, really? And just who employed the old poor defenseless senior citizen tactic, The only way I can find an enemy who's using an underhanded tactics is with a tit-for-tat strategy.
Sorry to interrupt again, but I just need to get that Western-style cushion there on the sofa.
Enough of this insubordination! What do you want, man?
Oh, please, don't mind me.
Oh, do my eyes deceive me, or is this the wide-eyed criminal from the trial before?
Wide-eyed, perhaps, but criminal, no.
What is this unhealthy fascination you exhibit with the seating arrangements of others? Why were you peering under the cushion of this upholstered seat?
Well, the thing is... It's a boy. Any luck? Did you find it?
There you
go. No, sadly not. I don't think it's here, Kazuma.
You really are a liability, Ryunosuke.
Report at once! Have you lost something? Is that it?
Yes. We were just on our way to a party to celebrate my friend's victory here when...
I realized that my university pin badge was missing.
A university pin badge, you say?
Yes, from my collar here, you see?
Affirmative! Uniforms must be kept in prime condition at all times. A missing badge is unacceptable!
I thought if I looked around, I'd probably turn up somewhere. Like the old tale of the Koban coin and the steak.
A parable of which I am acutely aware.
But I've exhausted my search now, really. The only logical conclusion is that someone must have stolen it.
Don't look at me!
I don't find just any old metal objects irresistible, you know. Imagine what would happen if little Trooper Ido here swallowed something like that.
I'm afraid we'll have to give up, Ryunosuke. Still, if you tell the office your student number, they should be able to issue a new one.
Is that a real story of a Koban under a stake or something? I wouldn't think so, right? He was just kind of poking
Yeah, I think he was just referencing the trial, yeah.
What's the matter? Don't tell me.
Yes, I don't remember my student number.
I don't believe it. I mean, this is the second time you've lost your badge, isn't it?
Third, actually.
If you didn't think you could remember it, you should have made a note of it somewhere. I told you that until I was blue in the face the last time this happened.
Yeah, I do seem to remember someone telling me something along those lines, yeah. It was you, wasn't it?
You can't even remember who told you that you needed to remember it?
Well, student numbers are 6 digits, Kazuma. Who could remember 6 whole digits?
Yume isn't exactly a long-established university, you know. All of our student numbers are still rather low. In fact, they only use the last 3 digits.
Well, that might help, I suppose.
That might help? Ryunosuke, it's the only 3 digits you need to remember! Just 3!
Sorry my brain is such a disappointment.
Yes, well, anyway, young man, myself, I was greatly impressed with you in the courtroom today. Oh, you mean me? A lawyer already, before you've even graduated, and such a loyal friend to this one.
This one? What's that supposed to mean?
Oh no, I still have much to learn. In fact, that was brought home to me in no uncertain terms only last year. My Achilles heel was spectacularly exposed by my best friend here. Oh, indeed.
What? By me? That's the first I've heard about it.
Yes, by Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You can't have forgotten, surely. It was last summer at the speech contest.
The speech contest? Oh, that.
Contestants had to take to the stage and deliver a public address on any subject they chose. We were competing to give the most compelling and powerful speech.
And yours was great. It made a huge impression on the audience.
Obviously, since I was the budding student of law, I was determined to win. And sure enough, one by one, my opposition fell, until I reached the final at last. I came up against you.
Yeah, so you did.
Not being rude, but when I first laid eyes on you, I thought to myself,
damn.
This cheeky, wide-eyed no-hoper is out of his depth. He's gonna be a pushover.
Well, that's your version of not being rude, is it?
Well, I paid for my complacency, because it brought on a humiliating defeat.
Defeat? How were your ranks compromised?
My speech was going very well. I had the audience in the palm of my hand. They hung onto my every word. And then, when I came to the very last line... Yes, what happened at the very last line? It was supposed to be a climactic end. Unfortunately, I completely fouled it up. Never!
You mean you stumbled on your words?
Spectacularly. Even now, I can't believe I ruined it.
Well, what on earth did you say, man?
Ryunosuke, you'd better say it. I still can't get my tongue around it.
Sure, of course. I can still recall it perfectly. What you said at the end of your speech, or rather, what you intended to say at the end of your speech, was this. So rise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight and the fight of our filial piety?
Mm-hmm.
Piety?
Yep.
Piety? I always mix that up.
Piety, I think.
And what went wrong?
What indeed? Myself, I see no problem with the pronunciation of these paltry words. In that case, old man, I invite you to say it yourself. Very well then, I shall.
So rise, ladies and gentlemen, and applaud our forefathers' plight in the fight for filial pile.
It's impossible! The arise, ladies and gentlemen part I delivered perfectly. But the next part had me floundering for a whole 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
By the end of it, I was on my knees in front of the podium, a blabbering mess.
And that's when the audience started to heckle you. Arise! Arise! They were shouting.
Hell on earth! But then, of course, this man went and delivered his word-perfect speech with a perfect ending. How did it go again?
Let me see. Yeah, 5 minutes would be an eternity on stage like that. So, my dear fellows, the message is simple. Treat your father and mother with respect. Something like that?
I mean, talk about stating the obvious, but the fact is, I lost to that speech. Tongue-tied is the only way to describe it.
Well, it is quite tricky to say, I agree. That final fight for filial piety, fuck. Especially.
And ever since that day, I've had this question whirling around in my head. Why did our forefathers choose such an awkward phrase? Was it to mock their children? I mean, it should never have even called filial piety in the first place. Ugh!
At least you're going to Great Britain soon. It might not come up much there. Hey, you say it.
Well, anyway. Having lost that accursed contest, I came after you to ask you a question.
First place.
How is it that you never trip up on your words, I inquired.
Use simple words.
And you just gave me a broad smile and said, speaking fast is my hobby. I mean, really? What kind of hobby is that?
Do you think you could take your hand off of your sword? Because it's, besides, it's just a way to pass the time.
After that, you started talking to me at 10 to the dozen, like you were possessed almost. Honestly, you can't imagine the shock I suffered that day. You really can't.
You're right. I really can't. Speaking fast is just the sort of hobby I'd expect a civilian like you to waste his time on. Well, you have to practice, of course. But there are some simple things to start with. Like this famous one, for example. Swift samurai sword, swipe silently sideways.
Oh, yes, even a decrepit tongue like in an alien frame such as mine can find its way around that one.
I have no doubt. It's just a bit of fun, really. I can't imagine anybody would struggle to say it. Isn't that right, Kazuma?
Swift swam away, swat.
A blabbering mess by word 2. It's not just the samurai. Every good soldier needs to be able to handle a sword. And that's why I've been busy teaching Idaho the finer points of swordplay. None of his wordplay nonsense, private! Come to think of it, not long after that, we started to attend lectures together, didn't we? And we got into that debate about family values at the sukiyaki place on campus. Do you remember?
Yes. Your argument was full of jokes and puns and wordplay, as usual. I remember it well.
Oh, was it?
In any case, I swore that I would never let myself forget the shock that you gave me back then. And as a symbol of how seriously I took an oath, and I decided to wear this, my red Hachimaki headband.
Sorry, Kazuma.
Yes.
You've lost me there, I'm afraid. I don't see the link. What does your red headband have to do with your oath?
Because it will always remind me of that smug look on your face as you uttered those tantalizing words.
What words? You mean another tongue twister?
I practiced and I practiced until my tongue bled, but in the end, I mastered it.
Mastered what?
Well, I think it's time you heard this, actually. Listen carefully now. Here goes. Red headband, lead headband, dead headband. Oh, there! Word perfect, see?
Dead headband. The theme plays and everything.
I'd actually been meaning to ask you about that. About the story behind your headband, I mean.
Well, now you know.
Oh, sorry.
It was something about my humiliation. That's why I wear this red headband every single day without fail.
I kind of wish you'd not wear it until the day I die.
Well, I don't know exactly how much of a shock you think you had back then, but it can't be more than the shock you've just given me now.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but the tongue twister I said didn't go the way you seem to have remembered it.
Huh?
It's just as famous as swift samurai swords, so I can't believe you don't know it, really. It goes, red, oh wow. Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread pan, man. Oh, man at the end. Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead, bah. Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man. Ah!
Red bread pan, lead bread pan, dead bread man.
Hey, you got it.
Woo! Wait, what?
Seems I've knocked some wind out of that headband of yours.
It's not too late, Private. You could always start wearing a red bed pan on your head instead.
Your youthful vigor is manifest, young man. Your cheeks are glowing redder than your hachimaki. Why do so many words have to be so similar?
So, looking forward to Great Britain then? Where you'll have to deliver speeches in court in English?
I suppose. I can always shell seashells on the seashore. She-shore.
Seashells. That's funny.
I can always shell seashells on the she-shore.
I wonder if this conversation in the original was about English.
Might do.
And like learning to enunciate English. It kind of feels like it could fit that. That's fun though.
They're cute. They're very cute.
Oh.
Next game, more Russian Revolution, more vampires, more wine, more JoJo poses and more of Herlock shenanigans. Only here in the NyanCave.
Mama Squeevin!
Thank you.
Yeah, after A Link to the Past.
What do you mean there are no more cats?
What do you mean there's no more cats? There's gonna be so many cats.
So many cats. Thank you, though. I'm afraid this one might just be all you. In the second escapade transpires another crime was committed amongst the SS Budia. The stakes are as high as Shomes and Stroganoff pursue the culprit. Oh.
Wow, that sounds like it's gonna be time for Russian. Not Russian.
Nah.
Time for Austrian man.
Yeah. Oh, I guess there was the
He's
gallery.
heading to the auditorium above the to something.
Get to the auditorium.
Wow. Ooh.
Oh, I love comments. Hello, I'm Kazuya Nuri, art director and character designer for the game. Let me show you some of the character design and scene setting artwork produced by the development of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Here's the hero of the whole show, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The main concern here is to strike a good balance between period look of someone out of the Meiji Japan and a believable ancestor to the protagonist of the main Ace Attorney games, Phoenix Wright. That's sweet.
And your LNRs can switch you through the pictures?
Oh my god. There's like a whole story.
Hell yeah, baby. Each of them. I started off with a stoic university student uniform befitting of the period, but I didn't want it to be too generic, so I altered the cut of the back and the sleeves and added some details to the suit. The Japan and the world of the Great Ace Attorney. Blah, 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 blah. The buttons on the back accentuate and draw the jacket in to create a smart, svelte line. This picture was drawn as reference for Ryunosuke's principal and court camera angle. He has his sword drawn because, well, I just wanted to see what it would look like.
Cool. I do want to see some of the other ones, so I might not go through all of them.
Hello. This is the female lead, Susato Mikitoba. The theme for the design was that of a female student who embodied the principles of Yamato Nadeshiko, or a personification of the quintessential Japanese woman. So I decided to use the easily identifiable and typically Japanese cherry blossom as the Mikitoba family crest, influencing the pattern on her kimono and the hem of her hakama dress. The heart of Susato's character is her impeccable upbringing, which I've tried to bring out in various elements of her design, from her posture, facial expressions, and the quality of her kimono.
Kitagawa did the OST for the Layton crossover and was brought back for these games. The orchestration does a beautiful job mixing Japan and Britain.
Mr. 96! Yeah.
Very good.
What a good job on the music. It was so good in Layton. Very good in here too.
Yeah, maybe we'll do these and then we'll save the rest for later just to make sure we don't get any spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Here we have the great detective himself, Herlock Sholmes. But how was I going to come up with a design to satisfy the requested unique take on the classic detective I received from our legal offices?
Yeah.
To begin with, I brought out some steampunk elements to the Victorian era character. Yeah. Then I tried to create a stylish arrangement of various period elements and some iconic characteristics to the original I wanted to preserve. Sholmes' personal crest embodies a cogwheel motif, as his consulting detective business is a simple flower design of Iris's crest. Oh!
Very cool.
The cogwheel symbolizes the Industrial Revolution taking place in Britain at the time. There are some overtones of the relationship between Sholmes and Iris in the motif, with Iris, the flower, the center of being protected by Sholmes, the cogwheel around the outside. That's sweet. I was careful to preserve the essential features of the great detective, such as the deer stalker and the pipe, arranging them into a character that would be instantly recognizable to all.
I think the deer stalker's is it his hat or his coat?
I think it's the hat, because that looks like a hunting hat with the ear flaps and stuff. Yeah, I didn't realize, I just thought they were the same, but yeah, the cog and the flower, that's very sweet. Oh, whoa, oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Ba-doom.
Here we have Iris Wilson, whose character was developed on the basic idea of a child genius.
Oh.
Iris brings together a number of rather eccentric elements of the game world in a subtle and controlled way. Subtle? At first glance, her hair appears to be tied up in a cute style that combines elements of ribbons, bows, and hearts, but in fact, her fringe follows a golden spiral, a logarithmic curve based on the golden ratio.
What? I guess it is subtle. Her fringe follows? Like the hair?
Yeah, like her. If you go to the previous one, previous image, I guess that swirl there is the golden ratio.
Oh, no way.
What appears to be ribbons of hair tied into both the front are revealed from behind to be a Mobius strip, a type of surface with interesting topological properties, signifying Iris's infinite possibilities. So, a number of secret mathematical curiosities have been deliberately hidden in this young child genius's innocent appearance. I decided to make use of the flower/plant motif in Iris's character design. That was partially inspired by the long history that the use of herbs and plant aromas has in Britain, but also because the idea of blending herbal teas fits naturally with Sholmes' chemistry, based on investigative techniques. The goggles, gun, and knapsack are a set that match Sholmes' accoutrements. The goggles in particular were part of the initial design, and I always intended not just to be a cute addition, but to lend a dubious air to Iris's appearance, to make people think there's more to her than meets the eye.
Moving pictures, that's cute. Yeah, we'll look at the rest later. I'm sure that we could probably go further without spoilers, but it's almost time. And that'd be fun. I really like that kind of stuff. It's really neat.
Right? I love art books things.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of art books. I have quite a few. Trailer.
Kazuma's speech in Og script went like this: Sa. Imakoso Takayagra. T-Shotaku Shasu no Runayaku Nanio. It's about rising of downtrodden classes.
Huh. Neat.
Oh, wow, that last one was, oof. I think Brian just skipped it entirely.
I think Brian's like, no, thank you.
Oh, it was awesome, though. really, really great part 1. But yeah, definitely very cool. Very cool. I can't write off Vilin Bolshevik being a juror in that trial as simple like a red herring. I have no belief. All the spoiler stuff from game 2 is DLC. Oh, I don't know if we got DLC or not. But yeah, so I really do think that that's all going to come together. I do wonder if Vilin is actually a good guy.
He's a good guy?
I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe it's just the romanticist in me that's like, I want the guy named Villain to be good guy.
right?
Wednesday is the next Great Ace Attorney. No, today's Monday, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're gonna play Link to the Past, which will probably take 2 weeks tops, I think. Not even. We're gonna finish the escapades. Probably eventually. They're kind of fun. We'll see. I'd like to pace them out a bit more. I definitely don't think I could do a day of like 7 escapades. Oh, it's marked from the vault, so you know if it's spoilers. Oh, neat. Is this channel's first Zelda? Yes, kind of. A long time ago, the streams aren't there anymore. But before we were the NyanCave, we played a little bit of Breath of the Wild right on launch. And that was fun. Didn't finish it though. Actually, didn't even really get that far. Yeah, Zio, it's an older game, so it should have it should have some memes, and you'll definitely probably see me rage as much as I do rage. Yeah, I am the angry gamer boy apparently. Yeah, because it deals with a lot of puzzles and directions and backtracking, I believe. And Illuminous Orb says, did you play Triforce Heroes? Yes, actually, we played quite a bit of Triforce Heroes. Triforce Heroes was the very first game that we ever live streamed. Period. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, ironically, BNC, yeah, before NyanCave, that's accurate. Yeah, ironically, we have played some Zelda, but those streams are gone. Those things are different. Yeah, Link to the Past can be pretty short if you know the game already. Yeah, I don't plan on spending too much time kind of derping around. But yeah, the very first stream we ever did was Triforce Heroes. And I really do think Triforce Heroes is like the coolest concept for a Zelda game.
It really was neat.
Yeah.
I remember it was a lot of fun.
Some lore for you. Yeah. Yeah, 3-player. We have 3 copies of the game and everything too, so.
Somewhere around here we do.
The Skyward Sword was not considered because of the gyro? Not that we never considered it. It's just a Link to the Past seems like a good place to start, and it's a nice short game. So, yeah. I mean, of course, I know I am skipping, I think, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2.
Yeah.
But I think
Zelda 2 is actually my only real interaction with Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda 2 is a weird one.
Yeah.
It's like
Vinny Vinesauce loves it.
Yeah, it's 2D and then the overworld, right? And it's got like RPG elements to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an odd one.
That's the only game I played, and I remember being like, it's too hard, Zelda's dumb. And that's when I wrote off Zelda for forever.
Yeah, Zelda 2 is really weird. Link to the Past is indeed Zelda 3. Man, and what a crazy jump from 2 to 3 it is. It's crazy. Like,
yeah.
Like A Link to the Past, yeah, I don't know. I was a child, of course, when it first came out, and I first played with it, but it really had like some sort of crazy consuming magic about it that was just so much fun. I think it was just being able to run around and discover the witch's hut and stuff like that and be like, ooh, which was fun. When we were playing CDI Zelda, man,
great,
I would love to.
I'll grab my stuff.
That'd be great. But anyways, what about Link's Awakening? I played a bit of Link's Awakening on the Game Boy Color, but I don't know if it was a Game Boy Color game.
That was re-released on Switch, I think.
Yes, in that really cute style. Yeah, it was mixed with, it met some mixed reviews gameplay wise, I think, but maybe we'll check it out. I don't know. We'll move forward from Link to the Past and we'll figure it out. But yeah, who needs to sleep? I'm looking forward to you guys' Zelda facts because
It's not Sunday today.
no, it's Monday, my dude.
I'm like, is it Sunday? No.
The transition to, were you there at the Nyan for the transition to a Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time?
I had a PlayStation.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time might be the only Zelda I beat as a child. And that was pretty freaking crazy.
The only thing I know is that all of Hyrule's water goes under that one guy's balls.
I don't even know that.
Mareep. 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 Mareep.
That's the extent of Zelda, because my friends in high school played Zelda and liked it, so they talked about a lot of stuff like
Yeah, what now?
about how the water temple is awful, all of Hyrule's waters go under that guy's balls, and Mueep, 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 Mueep.
I very much want to play Majora's Mask.
You do?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I never played Majora's Mask, and it looks so cool.
I was scared of that game.
I've seen a bit of it.
Yeah.
It looked kind of scary, but it looks like so much fun. The Zora King? Oh. But yeah, Majora's Mask would be crazy. I know it's a bit, what would you call it, divisive, I guess? A lot of people didn't like it, I think.
Which one? Majora's Mask?
Majora's Mask, yeah.
I think it's like time limits, man. People don't like time limits, and that game is basically manage a time limit.
Oh yeah, right. The 3DS versions of Ocarina and Majora's Mask. I wonder which version we'll play. I'll have to think about that. But I know that tomorrow is A Link to the Past, so
hell yeah.
And we'll talk about it more. So this has been your Link to the Past preview and the end of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Part 1, which will definitely be coming back because damn, so cool.
What a good game!
Amazing. Very fun. Great characters. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you from Yakuza.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. I love you. Bye. Bye.